Okay, I'm super excited for Subnautica 2. I just spent the last week in Subnautica doing awesome stuff with the Red Plague, and nothing sounds better than seeing if a Megalodon could survive in Subnautica. They didn't even survive on Earth. They went extinct, so like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Leave a like on the video, check out this gentleman link down below, and let's get into it. Okay, could the Megalodon survive in Subnautica?
Ototus Megalodon, or the Meg if you're Jason Statham, was the biggest definitive macropredator in Earth's history. This neogene supershark ate other apex predators like raptorial whales, leading to a trophic level that no modern carnivores even approach.
Damn.
Megalodon fossils have been found all over the world and captivated human imagination, inspiring equal parts awe and terror.
No way if they've been found all over the world. That's crazy, right?
But how would Earth's ultimate marine carnivore fare as a big fish in a much, much bigger pond? We're placing the Meg in the world of Subnautica, Planet 4546b, focusing on the crater environments of the first game.
Oh, hell yeah.
This alien sphere is almost entirely covered by ocean, and is home to a wide array of competing creatures. For the purposes of this video, the invading force is composed of 20 breeding adults, 10 males and 10 females. Most of these adults are in the 20 to 30 ton range.
I did not know the females were that much bigger than the males. That's incredible, bro. Those dudes didn't know how good they had it.
Males and 10 females. Most of these adults are in the 20 to 30 ton range, comparable to humpback whales, with a couple Yellowstone hyperpredator class individuals that push 23 to 24 meters and 90 to 100 tons.
Damn.
We'll be using the reconstruction based on Shimada et al. 2025, a new paper arguing for an elongated, slim build for the megatooth shark. It's on the controversial side, but was written by people who know a heck of a lot more about shark biology than I do. Remember that this could change in the future, and likely will. We'll go through the crater's biomes and analyze how the Ototus population would adapt to their new home, find enough food for their endless hunger, and defend against the hanger of native predators and competitors. And yes, there will be Megalodon variants, so you can stop foaming at the mouth.
Man, I don't know how I feel about that paleo-accurate version. A long, slender Megalodon. I like big, beefy sea monsters, you know? I want it to look like something Jason Statham would miraculously be able to stop with his hands or something. He's silly, but man, it'd be sweet,
The
you know what I mean?
Megapocalypse begins in the safe shallows, a peaceful coral reef riddled with small tunnels and caves. The organisms that live here are small and generally non-aggressive, like the iconic peepers, bladderfish, and boomerang. Crashfish will self-destruct if provoked, but their tunnels are far too small for any adult megs to enter. As a matter of fact, everything here is too small. The shallow water would severely limit Megalodon's movement and potentially cause injuries.
Hang on, if a crashfish did somehow get triggered, it would swim out, the Megalodon would try to eat it. You think that explosion inside its mouth or possibly down its throat would, I don't know, that's crazy to think about.
There's nothing in the area large enough to be worth eating besides the toxic gasopods. The sharks would move on rather quickly,
well, they're
spreading
stalkers
out in all directions in search of more suitable waters. They'll pass through the kelp forests, areas with thick, towering pillars of glowing kelp. Small fish, including the irritating bleeders, hoopfish, boomerang, and hoverfish, dart between the tall green strands. Stalkers collect scrap metal and snap at nearby prey. There's barely room to move for the giant sharks, and nothing worth going out of their way to eat, so they push through the kelp in search of a more suitable habitat. The grassy plateaus provide much more breathing room. Between 50 to 170 meters deep, they open up the area and allow the Megalodon to actually swim. Kind of nice. Blood grass covers the seafloor, and the plateau includes entrances to multiple cave systems. The 3-meter-long predatory sand shark lives here, along with many of the smaller fish from the safe shallows. The Megalodon would encounter their first Leviathan-class life form in the reefback Leviathan.
You know, I never realized how little stuff in this game there would be for a great shark to eat. There's like no medium to large size herbivores. Everything's like a predator around these parts.
A peaceful floating giant that resembles a Lovecraftian coral reef. Reefbacks are enormous, at up to 64 meters long, and almost entirely covered with thick armor.
I guess there are though, like the gasopods, those bulbous gassy creatures, there's actually a few examples. I'm stupid, but he said they stink.
They do have exposed tentacles they use to swim, which a Megalodon could perhaps attack and bite off. Reefbacks are rare, however, which would make relying on them for food less practical. The sharks, unfortunately, need to move on if they want to keep their bellies happy, but this place is worth coming back to. That brings us to the Grand Reef. At a depth of down to 500 meters, it may be deeper than what Ototus Megalodon would typically be comfortable with. Their closest living relatives, the short-fin makos, range from the surface to 150 meters down, although ecologically the two were so different that I'm not sure comparing them really makes sense. As a whale hunter, Megalodon likely would have gone deeper below the ocean surface. For argument's sake, we'll say the Grand Reef isn't out of the question. So what about the reef itself? A deep, rocky environment filled with glowing anchor pods and membrane trees, the Grand Reef is home to multiple notable animals. The classic bladderfish and sand sharks are among the ranks of smaller creatures, along with hypnotic mesmers and the serial killer vibe warpers. The latter two, while certainly threatening to human divers, wouldn't target a pod of gigantic sharks, and are too small to make decent meals themselves. Sea treader leviathans are crustacean-like leviathans, around 20 meters long at full size.
I did not know they were leviathans.
Movement and grazing. They'd be excellent prey, filled with flesh that could be crunched open by the armor-shattering bite of the Meg, and are relatively weak offensively. Going deeper in the Grand Reef would reveal the crab squid, an enormous, murderous jelly baby designed by Freddy Krueger. This highly aggressive
jelly
creature
baby
attacks light sources and can fire electromagnetic pulses, which may mess with the Meg's ampullae of Lorenzini and temporarily confuse the shark. Early attempts to attack the crab squid would likely result in frustration, making the sea treader leviathan a much better prey option. But something else lurks in the deep waters of the Grand Reef.
Oh damn.
A predator that makes the great sharks of Earth look like minnows. Two ghost leviathans call the Grand Reef home. Juvenile ghost leviathans are 3 times the size of the biggest Megalodon and would happily chomp them to bits after ramming them into oblivion. Too big and heavily armored to effectively bite, they'd easily stay on top of the food chain. The PDA does state that fully mature ghost leviathans eat microorganisms, but that would only apply to fully grown adults in the dead zone. Younger ghost leviathans happily eat larger animals. While some Megs could survive in the shadows of the Grand Reef as a mesopredator, avoiding ghost leviathans, others would continue to find safer waters. To the dunes!
I feel like the strategy would be you go from spawn from the shallows into one of those tunnels that go to the jelly shroom biome and just live off those. That'd probably be a good, because you could just bypass a lot of this if they could fit into those tunnels though.
These vast sandy plains littered with hydrothermal vents and floating gasopods are much easier to navigate than the wrinkled, cramped surfaces of the Grand Reef. Reefback leviathans provide relatively easy food, although most everything else is too small to be worth hunting. It's chill enough here, right? Right? The 8 Reaper leviathans lurking in the area say otherwise.
There's 8?
While not as massive as their ghostly counterparts, they're still over double the length of the Yellowstone hyperpredator and have jaws large enough to bite a Big Mag in half.
Dude. Oh my god, it scared the hell out of me.
Speed, raw power, and aggression, not to mention the fact that there's freaking 8 of them, would turn the open spaces of the dune biome into a death trap. The Megalodon troop needs to get out of here, and fast. How about the mushroom forests? Towering tree mushrooms fill these
actually be
twin
not
biomes
the
at a max
worst.
depth of 250 meters, and small to medium creatures swim between their stalks. Jelly rays lurk at the bottom, and reefback leviathans float above. The new animal of interest from a Megalodon perspective would be the ampiel. At around 20 meters in length, but much less robust than the giant shark, ampiel's main defense is their ability to zap enemies with powerful blasts of electricity. Their attacks are strong enough to damage the Cyclops submersible, but that may be due to interfering with its circuitry. In a straight-up death battle, the Meg could certainly damage the ampiel by ambushing it from beneath and crushing its armor, but from an ecological perspective, this juiced-up electric eel isn't worth hunting. Combine the cramped terrain with the fact that Reaper leviathans can occasionally patrol these waters, and the mushroom forests sound less whimsical and more deadly.
I don't know, like at a charging speed, one of those Megalodons, it's like one good bite, I'd even just ram into the side of one of those eels.
Moving on.
Yeah, just
The
kind of like,
sparse reefs actually are chill.
I don't know.
Ranging from 40 to 310 meters deep, it has small fish like peepers, spadefish, and Reginald, along with reefback leviathans for actual food. There's plenty of open water as well as rocky spires to raise young in and provide variety. What's more, no Leviathan-class predators here. Except for the Megs themselves, of course. This might be an excellent base of operations.
That probably
Safe
would be
zone,
best.
if you will, that would let the sharks get used to the environment of the crater. Stabilize, adapt, expand. We can work with this. The Lost River, on the other hand, is far too dangerous and deep. The same goes for the Lava Zone, the Blood Kelp Zone, and the Crash Zone. Either they don't have the right prey items, the existing apexes are too dangerous, or both.
I feel like the Lost River, anything should die down there, bro. Like those murky bottom of the, like where the water's like so thick, it's like you have an ocean at the bottom of an ocean. That crap's supposed to be so toxic.
The
like
Dead Zone is another level entirely, given its lack of suitable prey items and endless population of aggressively territorial ghost leviathans. But before we get into speculative evolution, let's give the real-life Meg population its Thrive Arena life score. Overall for home, it gets a 7.
Okay.
Many of the biomes in the crater are more cramped than the giant shark would prefer, but there are plenty of areas with wide open spaces to allow movement and reproduction.
Plus, you got to imagine, this is just like a mile of the planet. The rest is a giant ocean planet, you know what I mean? So there's like probably going to be some space somewhere.
The sparse reef would definitely be their home base and where they'd raise their young, but survival as mesopredators in some of the more dangerous biomes isn't out of the question. For hunger, we're looking at a 5. We're looking at reef-back leviathans, crab squid, and sea treader leviathans as the only real sustainable food options for adults, with crab snakes as potential dangerous options for big adults who end up in the jelly shrimp caves.
I'd be more afraid of the crab than the snake, you know what I mean? Like, it looks perfect to bite in half.
Sand sharks and stalkers would be decent prey for young Megalodon. There really isn't an equivalent to whales here in terms of size, ease of hunting, and calorie yield, but there are enough big animals to at least sustain a small megashark population. How about hanger? The Megalodon earns another 5, just enough to scrape by.
Damn.
Not every biome has superior apex predators, letting it be a big dog in a handful of areas, but anywhere with ghost leviathans or reaper leviathans is going to suppress its potential. It's still one of the stronger predators on planet 4546b, but will have to be content with being a B-tier leviathan rather than the indisputable S it was on Earth.
I feel like it would start rapidly evolving smaller and smaller just to kind of like, so it didn't need such large calorie intake to survive, or it would die, but like typically that kind of shark, it evolves and sticks around for millions of years, you know what I mean?
That gives the Totus Megalodon an overall Thrive Rate and Life score of 5.66.
Better than me.
Just above the minimum for maintaining a stable population. That does score well enough at least to stick around and adapt to its new surroundings. Let's go over 3 variants that could hypothetically develop, ranging from most to least realistic. First up is the Nasher Leviathan, or Synthlevon Megalodon.
What?
This giant crusher tooth is descended from sharks that spread out from the sparse reef and made their homes in the deep Grand Reef, mushroom forest, and blood kelp zone.
Oh damn.
Synthlevon's liver is rich in oil
cool.
to allow neutral buoyancy, making navigation in deeper waters easier. Their teeth changed from the classic triangle shape into more spherical grinding pegs, like that of Earth's Durophagus shark Tychodus.
Pegs?
And fleshy ridges inside its mouth act like spiked grips. It specializes in hunting crab squid and ampules, crushing the crab squid's armored legs and the ampule's heavily fortified torso.
Hell
Its
yeah.
ampullae of Lorenzini have mutated to generate a protective electromagnetic field around its body that neutralizes the offensive weapons of its electric prey, letting it chomp on the zappy aliens with impunity. Its internal organs are lined with fat to further boost its defenses, and pockets of fat on its skull, stomach, and sides perform the same function.
This usually works.
It's also known to snack
That helped
on
me
jelly
understand
rays,
it a lot
although
better.
their relatively
Not gonna
low
lie.
protein content makes them less common prey. Synthlevon's size increased from that of its ancestors, with adults averaging 15 to 18 meters long, and Megalodon
Oh god, what
Cave
do? Oh, I just skipped like 10 seconds. It's okay. I had to stretch.
averaging 15 to 18 meters long and 30 to 50 tons.
Damn.
Second is the cave leviathan,
Oh.
Antrimvenator Megalodon. Cave leviathans, in the countless generations since the original megalodons were placed on the planet, became specialized in infiltrating cave systems with low light levels.
Hell
Their
yeah,
bodies
dude.
elongated, and they developed the ability to flash bioluminescent signals to confuse prey. Adults are 17 to 25 meters long and weigh 40 to 150 tons. Their dorsal vertebrae became more flexible, allowing for easier turns and maneuvers in tight spaces, and their eyes expanded to see in low-light environments. Cave leviathans specialize in hunting the crab snakes that were the previous apex predators in the jelly shrimp caves. They've been observed diving directly into the giant mushrooms, generating bursts of light to disorient the crab snakes and then tearing them apart. The least
Damn.
plausible and most awesome
I like
Bromeg
that.
variant is the Ragnarok Leviathan, or Abyssotitan grandi. When faced with competition, these sharks took the T-Rex approach and got really freaking big. The lower gravity on planet 4546b made it even easier to grow massive.
I mean, he's right. It's not realistic, but there's like the Karar and there's like the red plague. There's diseases going on. Stuff could happen. Ooh, a red plague variant of this would have been sweet as well. Maybe a future video.
But their proportions changed to mirror those of the short-fin mako to increase speed and agility as well. The cartilage on their rostrum ossified into a sharp battering ram, capable of piercing armor of other leviathans when backed up by a charge, which can reach up to 70 miles an hour. Ragnarok leviathans average
Holy
60
hell.
meters in length and weigh around 1,500 tons. They not only can go fin to fin with reapers, but specialize in hunting them. Ragnarok leviathans frequent the crash zone, mountains, and dunes, staying in deep waters. When they sense a large enough organism above them, they burst up from the depths at high speeds and ram full force into the unfortunate animal, spearing straight through them. This attack is usually enough to kill a reaper in a single hit, and will provide enough food for weeks. Territorial battles between Ragnaroks take the form of ramming contests, each trying to stab the other or snap their battering ram.
Damn.
Some Ragnarok leviathans ventured beyond the confines of the crater and live in the dead zone, hunting ghost leviathans.
Can you imagine when their spike is broken? That's it, bro. Like no breeding, no nothing. Unless it regrows. It probably regrows. Got it.
These rare individuals typically measure 80 meters in length and weigh 3,500 tons, and take advantage of the deep waters outside of the crater to ambush their prey. The dead zone's seemingly endless supply of ghost leviathans provides the perfect food source. but there's always a bigger fish. Do you think that
I forgot
Otota's
about the
Megalodon
sea
could
dragon.
eventually develop a form strong enough to take on the sea dragon leviathans, or would it stay in the B tier? Let me know in the comments. If you like videos like this, please subscribe to support the channel so I can bring you more similar scenarios.
Raptors?
You can also join the channel as a member to gain loyalty badges and early access to videos. Big thanks to Primal, whose Subnautica expertise was crucial in motivating me to finally make the video I'd been teasing since August 2024.
I am actually very interested to see a video like this where the red plague's incorporated. That'd be awesome. I do like how this went. I went too realistic with it. I was like, we'd probably get some evolution where it'd be smaller, need less calorie intake, and could survive. But no, this is way more awesome, dude. Just going freaking big and ballsy with it. I thought this one was going to be my favorite, not gonna lie, but then this one came along, and the way it just kind of did its thing is just very cool. This one is obviously the most unrealistic, this one right here. It's fun to just have fun with stuff. Not everything needs to be so serious. But yeah, big shout out to this gentleman. His video is linked down below. He does a bunch of cool paleo accurate stuff, adapting it into video games. I did just spend a freaking week in Subnautica last week, like literally 30 hours in Subnautica last week, just beating the Red Plague Part 2 and stuff like that. So I wanted to watch the Subnautica video. And to be honest, now I just want to see some Red Plague stuff. I kind of just wish there was like a Subnautica version of a seals, like smaller, more peaceful herbivores in this game, though obviously any small peaceful herbivore in the Subnautica franchise is probably long gone extinct. I guess I just want to see more of the planet. I guess we have Subnautica 2 on the way anyways though, so it's totally fine. But yeah, leave a like on the video, subscribe for more, check out this gentleman, link down below for some paleo stuff, and I'll see you next time.